Also, let's get 10 more seconds. Okay, we are live. Should we start, Rajan bhai?
Yeah, we can start.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. We are on talk 38 of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, chapter 1, Sutra 42. Today's sutra goes like Tatra Shabdarth Jnana Vikalpaihi Sankirna Savitarka Samāpattihi. तत्र शब्द अर्थ ज्ञान विकल्पैहि संकीर्ण संकीर्ण सवितर्का समापत्तिः. The regular translation is there savitarka samapatti is the saturation which is mixed with word, meaning, knowledge, and conceptualization. It is samapatti with thought. Tavariaji's translation: when the perceiver blends the word, the idea or meaning, and the object, this is called the mental condition of judicial reasoning.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So now we are on Sutra 42, and the Rishi has started from 41 his series on what is called as samāpatti. Right. In 41, he said that there are three things: the grahitru, the person who grasps; grahan, the process of grasping; and grayashu, the objects which are for in front of the senses and which are grasped, right? So he says because the mind has the vrittis have calmed down, sheena vritteya, the vrittis has calmed down, the mind has become like a what you call beautiful crystal, abhijat asya eva maneha, right? And these three can now be seen separately. The that and all this is in the mind. We are not yet standing outside the mind. It is not tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. It is tatstha, standing there in the mind, right? So the mind which is perceiving is called as grahitru, and the one who sits outside the mind and sees and experiences is called as drashta. So he is avasthanam, away from the mind. This is the grahitru in the mind. He is not yet we have not yet reached the state of vritti nirodh where we can separate from the mind. So he's starting this series on samāpatti. And the translation taken over here of samāpatti is saturation. We can also say absorption, to be able to dissolve in the object, because there is nothing in the mind. So the mind, what you call, takes on the properties and the shape of the object in front of it, and it reflects those properties, right? By taking on the shape of that. And that is called as that what it takes on the object is grayish, right? So we did this last time, and he started this series on samāpatti. Let's go ahead. Can you read, Ketan?
Yes, I can read. I can read. In the next few sutras, the Rishi gets into the subtle stages of Samapatti.
Right. Now he is going to be talking about the subtleties of this state of samāpatti or absorption. Hmm.
In the last sutra, we took Samapatti to be absorption in the process, the faculty of knowing, or the object of knowing.
Right. So when an object comes in front of the mind is divided into two parts. One is the knowing part, and one is the object part. The object is also in the mind, the knower is also the mind, and the process of knowing is also in the mind. And when these three can be seen separately, when these three can be experienced separately, we went into the first samāpatti. Now he's going to divide it further. He's going to go into more subtleties into this. So he divides it into four stages, and that four stages are mentioned in this sutra. Now these are progressive. Well, one one goes into the other goes into the other, and that way we go through these four stages.
Once we
Now,
understand,
remember that Tavariaji's translation is a little different, and we'll take that a little later, because Tavariaji is talking from the experience of something which he used to do every day. So it is something which we will take up a little later. Right. So the normal.
Rajenji, from which book is this you are reading? Means you are. We don't have this book. That's why I'm asking you.
No, I don't understand.
Which book this you are using?
No, this is from Tavariaji's Yogasutra. When the perceiver blends the word, the idea or meaning, and the object, this is called the condition of judicial reasoning. This is from Tavariya Sahib's Yogasutra.
That is there, but next is not there. Next
oh no,
in the
these are
series.
Rajan Bhai's notes. These are Rajan Bhai's
I don't
personal
know.
notes on this.
Okay. Sorry, then I don't know that part. Okay.
So, yeah, right. So what I'm trying to just give you a difference between Tavariaji's translation and the normal translation. I have taken a normal translation. Right? From so many translations, I've just taken a normal translation.
Okay.
In the normal translation, can you come down a little? Come down. The word used, can you come down a little? You no. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Hold it there, Ketan.
Yeah. There's some lag. There is some lag in the line, I think. Yeah.
Again, you go. In the normal translation, the word used for this samāpatti is sankirna. The sankirna is the being translated as mixed. If you see as mixed, it is translated as mixed. Now, Tavariaji has translated the word as blends. Now, this is a very different translation, right? So, in mixed, we are taking it that the sadhak or the student is not aware that it is mixed, right? He's going to tell us the four things that are mixed. That is the imagination, the knowledge, prior knowledge, the word, and the what do you call object the word depicts. So in the all the normal translations, it is taken that the word that these are mixed sankirna, and the translation of the word to sankirna is also mixed, which Tavariaji has given a new. He says when he blends, so when we are blending something in the mixture, we are consciously blending it. There is an what do you call? We are making a new chutney out of it, a new soup out of it. So he's saying Tavariaji is saying that the perceiver is already aware of what is happening, and he is using these to blend. And what the normal translations is mixed. So I'm going to first take the translation as mixed, the normal translation, and then we'll go into what Mr. Tavariaji is saying later on.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you understand the difference between mixing and blending? Blending is that I consciously put everything in the mixer and blend it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
mixing, it was already mixed when it came to me.
Okay.
I don't know if I've been able to come across in this.
No, we can understand.
Set of stone particle and wheat particle. There is no change in either the stone particle or neither in the wheat particle. But in blending, a new thing
comes out in blending. A new thing. So he's given a very different translation. He's given a very different translation.
In mixer, we can separate. In blending, we can't separate.
Once it is blended, you cannot separate.
You cannot separate. But in mix, we can. Still, there is a chance to separate.
From the chokha mati kakri veena jaya. Okay, go ahead.
Once we understand the subtle differences, we realize how we progress in our journey.
So when we understand this sutra, this is very, very important, this sutra, in the sense that have we reached this state or not? We have to ask ourselves this question, what he's talking about in this sutra. So it becomes a great, barometer of our progress on the path. Okay, have we really reached this state or not? We can ask ourselves. And because he has explained it so well in this sutra, we know what he's talking about.
Discursive, digressing from subject to subject absorption, is that which is subtly mingled with word, meaning, cognition, and imagination.
Right. So there are four things he's saying in this sutra. Can you go back to the top? Right.
Yeah, 1 second. Just going back to the sutra. Yeah.
Tatra, Shabda, word, Artha, the meaning or the object which the word denotes, Gnana, prior knowledge, and Vikalpa, that is imagination, or Vikalpa also has a deeper meaning, alternate, what do you call, an alternate choice, right? So he's saying these, what do you call, can you go back to what note I've written? Just can you go back? So once we understand the subtle differences, we will know where we are in the, yeah. Okay, just go ahead. In the beginning.
In the beginning, let us take a very simple meaning of the sutra.
Okay, we'll take a very simple meaning of this sutra, and then we'll try to go into the subtleties of the sutra, right?
In the last sutra, he said there are three parts to the process of absorption or the dissolving of the chitta in the process of grasping, that is, in the object being grasped.
So we'll take one thing at a time. That supposing we are meditating on something, say on a waterfall, or we can say a statue. If you would like, you can put up a statue.
Should I put up the statue?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second, just putting that up.
Supposing this statue is there. Now we are meditating on this statue. And as we meditate on this statue, and I would like everybody to practice it as we are talking. As we meditate upon this statue, slowly our thoughts calm down. The emotional fluctuations calm down. So we have reached a basic condition which he talks about in the last sutra called Shina Vritte. The vrittis have calmed down, the vrittis have diminished. Now he says when the vrittis have diminished, the mind, which is now like what I call a clear crystal, is now like a clear crystal. So when the mind is like a clear crystal, that which is in front of the mind takes on the properties and the shape of that which is in front of the mind. So we can say that as we meditate upon this statue, all our thoughts will calm down, all our feelings will stop fluctuating, and we come to a state where we start becoming the statue. The statue sort of saturates our mind. The statue we become the statue. So in that process, he says that when we become the statue, we have a sensitivity of three things. One is the object. One is the process of meditating upon it, grahan, the object, graheshu, and the what do you call, that part of the mind which is seeing the object. We can separate these three and we have an experience of these three separately. So first is we reach a state of calming the thoughts and feelings, Shina Vritteya. Then because of that, there is nothing in the mind is clear of content. Then the statue, the mind takes on the shape and the characteristics of the statue. And in that, there is a deep sensitivity that three things are happening. There is the object, there is the process of saturation, grahan, and there is that part of the mind which is experiencing this, the grahitru, the one which is experiencing this. And these three processes become clear. Now, what the Rishi is saying in this next sutra, and we are taking a very simple meaning of this next sutra, which we'll go a little deeper. He's saying that how do we remain in this state? How do we remain in this state? Because the minute we are in this state, supposing you hear a car horn, then your attention will, again, there will be fluctuations in the mind. The mind will lose its state of shina vritti, right? It will stop reflecting the statue, and your attention will be pulled in a train of thought, that who's honking his horn at this time in the morning, he's got no manners, etc., etc. And we'll go on into a chain of thought, vritti sarupyam itaratra. I hope I'm coming across. If you're not understanding, please do ask, right? I'm trying to make this sutra as simple as possible. Then we can go into the deeper aspects of it. So we are meditating upon this statue, and now we have become one with the statue, and these three we can sense separately in the mind. The one which is seeing, and this is still happening in the mind. We have not yet gone outside the mind, right? So we can sense these three. There is a sensitivity of these three. Now, the Rishi is saying, can we take some help? Can we take some help in this situation, right? So in this situation, if we can take some help, then on the point in which we were going to digress from the statue, on the point in which the fluctuations were going to come in the mind, if somebody tells me that don't get engrossed in the fluctuation, hold your attention in the statue, then I have used somebody's shabda. Can you understand? I have used the outside help, shabda, to stay in the statue. So he's saying, the Rishi is saying that now that you're in this statue, I will tell you now, don't let your mind wander, hold the statue. I'll keep giving you suggestions. So you're taking an outside help to hold the meditative state, right? And this outside help can be in the form of vikalpa, your own imagination, jnana, prior knowledge that I have, practiced this before, and there have been so many times where my attention has slipped from the present moment and gone into a kind of a drift, right? So I can use either my imagination, I can use my, prior knowledge, or I can use the words, that is somebody's words from outside, like I am telling you, hold your attention, don't digress, don't go into a drift, keep holding the statue inside. So I can use somebody's words as suggestions, or I can use an object. I can use this, try to feel the statue more, in a more subtlety. I feel the eyes, I feel the curves, I feel the ears. In this, I have to use my imagination. I have to use my prior knowledge all together. And I move more and more into the deeper aspects of this. I see the necklace around his neck. I feel the beads of the necklace, right? I see what he's holding in his hand. I try to understand what he's holding in his hand, right? It is that, a piece of makhan which he's holding in his hand. So I try to, go. So I'm using my prior knowledge. I'm using my imagination. Now, this can happen in two stages. One is I have a teacher outside, or I have an elder brother outside, or I have a friend outside who is giving me suggestions to hold the statue. And later on, through self-observation, I may create an inner dialogue. And as my attention is going to drift away from the statue, something inside a voice inside will tell me, okay, stop, hold your attention. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm explaining, Himaben. Exactly what is that you may have an inner dialogue with your own self. And from your own inner self, something will come. Hold your attention. Don't let yourself drift away. Come back. You have drifted away. So again, you're using shabda, jnana, vikalpa, and artha to come back to the statue and remain in the statue. So in the last sutra, Patanjali explained the state of samāpatti. Now in this sutra, he's saying that use help. Use help of words, use help of imagination, use help of prior knowledge or memory, right? And use help of the object itself. Try to feel the object, deepen your sensitivity of the object, go deeper and deeper into the object, right? Feel the object and use these four things to extend the state of samāpatti, to extend that state where you're totally absorbed in the statue, right? So we can take it in this way. This is a very simple meaning, but through this meaning, you will be able to understand the deeper aspects of this sutra. Otherwise, it would be they are a little more complicated, so it will be a little difficult. Anyone who has not understood till now, anyone who wants to ask anything till now, then we can.
Rajan, I
Yeah.
think it required deeper sensitivity for this.
Yeah, deeper
Right?
sensitivity. So in the first sutra, there is a was sensitivity of 3 parts of the mind: the object, the person who's seeing the object, that is also part of the mind, and the process of seeing. Now he's saying to remain in that sensitivity, take the help of word, take the help of imagination, take the help of what you call memory, prior knowledge, and also increase your sensitivity of the statue, go deeper into the statue.
But you told that you become one with the statue.
Huh.
It means
So,
once you become one with the statue, is it possible that there is no need of sabda or all 4 things? Is itness?
no. Yeah, I'll just explain again. In the first 40 Sutra 41, we have become one with the statue.
Right.
Right? In Sutra 41, we have become one with the statue. This is the state of samāpatti.
Right.
This is the state of samāpatti, which he calls total absorption. Total absorption in the statue. Now we are in the statue, but somebody's car horn rings outside.
Okay.
And our attention goes from the statue and everything starts getting broken. So at that time, the rishis take the help of some word.
Okay.
So the word, supposing I am sitting next to you, I'll say, if your attention is drifting, bring it back to the statue. So instead of going on a thought about the car horn and whose car it is, you will bring your attention, you will immediately take the help of word and bring it back to the statue. I don't know, am I coming across in this?
Yes. Thank you.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I could understand.
So he's saying to remain in this state of samāpatti for a longer and longer time, take the help of word. Now the word could be given by me from outside, but the word can also come from within you, which Gurdjieff calls as work eyes, right?
Okay.
So that you may have created a work eye within you. When your mind drifts, that work eye tells you, hey, where are you going? Come back. Can you understand? Yes. So then the shabd comes from within you. The shabd does not come from outside. Right? It comes from an inner dialogue. From an inner dialogue. Right. If you go into the bhajans of what do you call? Of all the bhaktas, many, there'll be this inner dialogue, right? Many times they'll say, today God is angry with me.
Yeah.
Why is he angry? Because you drifted.
Yeah.
So it is an inner dialogue. So you understand. So the how to remain in that state. So he's saying use words, use imagination. So in imagination, I may feel that I'm I'm going in the statue, but I'm going deeper and deeper into the statue. I'm using my imagination, right? Or he's saying use prior knowledge. So I know that when I'm inside meditating on the statue, outside disturbances are going to come.
Right.
I have prior knowledge. Right? So I already from the beginning I've given myself a certain suggestions or when this happens, be aware, immediately come back, right? Prior knowledge will say at that time increase sensitivity. The Guru has said to increase your sense. So I'll increase sensitivity of the object. What a beautiful statue! And all these will be blended together, Tavariaji Sahib says. It's not just one. The word will also be there. The imagination will also be there. The knowledge will also be there, and the object will also be there. And he says you are blending this to remain in the state of samāpatti.
Right.
I hope I will be able to explain. I hope.
Yeah. Thank you, Rajan.
Huh.
Is it like that blending you say, it creates a newer thing?
Newer
So
thing.
this blending creates a higher prana which pulls you inside.
That is,
And you
yeah.
you
You hold. You blend all this together, right?
Which
And
creates
he calls that as judicial reasoning. That is savitarka, with word. Because the word has come, with the word. You have used it with the word. Savitarka. So
Yeah.
the first one he calls as samāpatti. In 41, this 42 he calls it as savitarka samāpatti, with the word. Samāpatti, absorption with the word. He has not used the word samadhi, but many translators have translated samāpatti as samadhi, which is not exactly. He's calling this as absorption. But is this now clear to everyone?
One question. Can we use an example of dissolving in, or let's say deeply listening to a devotional song or a bhajan? When we do,
Any object. That is why he has used the word grayeshu. Objects. He has used plural.
yeah,
Objects, yes. Anything. You can take the sound of falling water.
yeah,
Right? Now you use your imagination that I'm in the water, I'm feeling wet. I'm not in the water, I'm sitting outside on a chair. Can you understand? But I use my imagination so that gives me a deeper state of absorption with the water, the sound of water. Okay. Am I coming across it?
yes,
So I can use the 5 elements, I can use the 5 tanmatras.
yeah.
Right?
And for
He's saying
example,
take your help and remain in that state of samāpatti.
yeah.
This is the basic translation which we are doing, right? Okay. Right. Can you read ahead?
Yes.
Can you read?
A very simple definition of the sutra is that now we are in the state of samāpatti. How do we remain there? We
How
use
do we remain there? That is in 41, we have reached the state of samāpatti. How do we remain there? Yeah.
we use the help of shabda, artha, jnana in the concentration for absorption.
Shabda, artha, jnana, vikalpehi. Huh? We'll just read the sutra again.
Shabda, artha, jnana, vikalpaihi, sankirna, savitarka, samāpatti.
Sankirna, mixed together, blended together in Tavariaji Sahib's language. Savitarka samāpatti. Samāpatti in which there is language, in which there is the word. Huh? The word. Right. Now let us go deeper into this. Right. I think the basic outline we have understood what we mean to say by this sutra. Right.
It is very important, Rajan Bhai. This is what you have said. This about, of course, we are taking the example of the statue, but this is very important in the day-to-day activity also, how to live the life like this, right, Rajan Bhai?
You know, I'll just give you a small example. These days, I go swimming, right? So I do about 100 to 200 jumps in the pool, what they call those water exercise. Now,
Right.
when you jump in the pool,
Uh,
for fraction of a moment, you feel you are floating in the air.
right.
So in that one moment, I try to dissolve completely.
Barabar, barabar.
Right? So anything you are doing in life, you can use this. It doesn't have
Okay.
to be anything special. I'm just giving you an example of that we are doing the sutra, but I'm practicing this sutra every day these days.
Okay. That is what I wanted. Okay.
आपकी
Thank
बात है व्यक्ति साधक है और हर परिस्थिति
साधना प्राणी मात्र साधक है और हर परिस्थिति साधना है.
Rajan Uncle, here in this entire exercise, like a feeling or sensing of the presence or a present moment, is it important or not?
See, any presence which we sense.
Okay.
Can you understand what I'm saying? Sanket.
Yes, sir.
Any presence we sense, right? It will be a mixture of shabda, artha, jnana, vikalpa.
Okay.
Right? So supposing I use my breath to sense my presence.
Okay.
So then the artha becomes the breath.
Right.
I use the body to sense the presence.
Okay.
Then I feel my body as an empty vessel and there's a presence inside. I'm using my imagination to sense my presence.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So whenever we are sensing presence, we are using one of these four.
Right.
Right? Now,
Right.
supposing we go into a state of total absorption.
Okay.
Total absorption. Right?
Right.
What becomes free in that state of total absorption?
The feeling of I?
Our attention.
Attention. Okay.
You see? Now we are
Right.
totally dissolved in the statue. Attention has nothing more to do.
Right.
Attention becomes free.
Right.
Right?
And it goes with the source.
And attention will now reflect back. It will fold back upon its. See, this is a very, very, what do you call? Very beautiful inner experience.
Okay.
Where attention folds back. It does not divide. Please understand.
Right.
It does not divide. Right? It folds back and goes to where it came from, which is the real presence.
Okay.
And that presence is not of prior knowledge or of Shabda or Artha or imagination.
Right.
Are you understanding what I'm saying? So
Right.
just now if I
Getting
hold
it.
my presence, then I'm dividing attention to hold the presence.
Right.
I have to divide my attention on the statue and
Right.
one arrow attention upon self.
Correct.
Right? And then one attention on self, one attention on statue, and then I dissolve into the statue. But I cannot dissolve completely because I'm holding one attention upon
Self.
self. Can you
Presence.
understand? But
Right.
that self is an imaginary self. It is made out of sensitivity. It is made out of imagination. It is made out of some knowledge of prior knowledge, memory. It is a mixture of all that.
Right.
Can
Right.
you understand? Right?
Right.
If I dissolve totally into the statue,
Right.
which he calls a samāpatti, right?
Right.
Total absorption, then attention bounces back. And it gives you an
Right.
experience of real presence. And that real presence has not been imagined. It has not come through your, what do you call, active dividing of attention. You don't have to divide your attention.
So here when when you want to get absorbed, is it necessary to leave that arrow with the self or the false self?
Just dissolve, let everything dissolve. In that moment of samāpatti, the attention will fold back.
So
Because
what I'm trying to understand
attention
is
will
that
go back. You have freed the attention completely.
right. So in that moment, like the arrow which we have kept on self, the imaginary, self,
Then
that
you can
will have
never,
to give away.
if you keep an imaginary arrow on self, you can never go into samāpatti.
Right. So we'll have to give away that.
You have to dissolve, surrender.
Right. Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
So there is total absorption, there's total surrender into whatever you're meditating upon. In the old days, they used to call it as Ishtadev. Right? You meditate upon your Ishtadev. Right?
Right.
So, and you dissolve into it. And in that dissolution, attention becomes free and it folds back to where it came from. And that is the real presence. That presence is a different presence altogether. It is not something which you have conjured up through your sensitivity, through your imagination, through your feeling of body, through your feeling of breath, through your feeling of somebody inside of you. You see, all these are your vikalpa.
Right. Right. Correct.
Right. You have just told Shakti that now you are free, and Shakti goes back to Shiva.
Okay. Understood.
Rajen bhai, sorry to ask, but sometimes it happens when we are listening to you. Sometimes it happens get auto. It's no need of doing or anything. All words will disappear, but only something else will. That is the attention, right? It is going in the source. Something is From
Yes.
where that words are coming, that words are not important. The importance are not the meaning of is not important, but only something else.
Yeah.
That is what you are telling.
Because the real self is not a presence as we feel presence. It is like an empty,
Right,
overflowing emptiness.
right.
So there is dissolution into that.
Dissolution, right.
Dissolution.
And when dissolution occurs, everything dissolve, only that presence remain. Is it so, right?
Right. And if attention becomes free and it is going to go back to its source on its own,
Hmm.
sahaj, called spontaneous,
Yes.
why do we
So,
want to artificially divide it and put it on its source?
right. Okay. Thank you.
Now, throughout all these sutras, the prism exercise is very, very important. Sharmila has asked a question. Right. Can you read Sharmila's question, please? Thank you.
Yeah. Uh,
We'll have to continue this sutra next week. Huh? Huh? This is the payment you all pay for asking questions.
This is very important in day to day. That's why, Rajan bhai.
Yeah. So we'll continue this sutra next week, if you don't mind.
Sharmila, do you want to unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yeah, Sharmila, you can
Yeah,
ask that.
sure. Thanks, Ketev. Pranam Gurudev. So yes,
Pranam.
how would we know that it's a true folding back? I know you absorb into it. How do we know it's not imaginary? What is the deciding factor for the folding back? Is there some sort of signal that we know it's folding back and it's reflecting to the true self? Are there indicators or some posts?
See, my real
Thank you.
answer that there is no answer to this, you will know, right? But I'm going to answer your question. Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, supposing you suddenly go into a big explosion of joy, right? And that explosion of joy is so powerful that you may have suffered for thousands of years, but in that fraction of a moment of joy, all the suffering of 1,000 years gets dissolved. Right? You may have been tired for 1,000 years, but all that 1,000 years of tiredness gets what you call rejuvenated. I hope I'm
Sure.
coming across, right?
Yes,
So,
Gurudev. That sounds like a lifetime of experience, actually.
can you imagine from the beginning of this universe, Shakti has been what you call separated from Shiva. She's involved in all this world-making activities, right? And suddenly, for a moment, she goes back to her lover. What can the feeling be?
Yeah.
Right? So there's no way to describe it. There's no way to describe it, but it is such a powerful moment, right? Or if you say you have lost a friend 1,000 years ago, and now after 1,000 years, you're meeting that friend of yours, right?
It's
And you
true.
see him walking from the horizon, you see him far away, walking close. You know, you've read the story of the prodigal son in the
I
Bible.
don't think so. Sorry. Yes, no, I
In the
haven't.
Bible,
Sorry.
there's the beautiful story of the prodigal son, you know, where this one son, he takes his fortune and he leaves his home, right? And the younger brother stays with the father. And then he wastes all his fortune on gambling and everything, right? And then he has nothing. And then he's working at somebody's farm in a pigsty, right? So then he remembers that in my father's home now, which father he's talking about in the Bible, everybody thinks, you know, the real father, our father who art in heaven, he's talking, right? So anyway, he say, in my father's home, even servants are better off than what I am.
Sure.
Right? So he says, let me go back to my father. Right? And when the father sees his son coming, you know, he knows his son has squandered away everything. He knows his son has gambled away everything. But from far away, he sees his son coming. And he knows his son is coming back home. Right? Tavariaji Sahib calls it the celestial home. The celestial home. So in
Beautiful.
that moment when attention goes back and there's a feeling of real presence, that after we have gambled away everything and we are still coming back to our Father and we are being welcomed.
Thank you, Gurudev. Amazing.
Can
You
can
are
you
amazing.
understand?
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you so
So
much. Yeah.
I don't know how to explain the feeling, any other way of explaining the right? But it's a very different feeling, very different feeling, right? So Patanjali is saying over here, I'm sorry, the Rishi is saying over here is that in this state of absorption, attention gets free and it goes back to where it comes from. Now he's going into the subtleties of this state of absorption in the next few, in this sutra. Let us go deep, go further. Ketab.
Suppose we are meditating on a statue. Initially, our thoughts calm down. That is,
Yeah, we've gone through this, so just go through this fast. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the fluctuations in the mind calm down. This is the state of Shina Vrittaya. In
Which
this
he
state,
talked in the last sutra. Yeah.
the chitta or mind becomes clear as a crystal. The crystal is now colorless, but takes on the color or properties of whatever comes in front of it. This is tad anjanta. This is absorption in properties of the statue. The Rishi calls this samāpatti.
This he calls as samāpatti.
Now he's saying how to prolong or remain in this state. Take the help of words, shabda, artha their meaning, or to picturize the objects they denote, and prior knowledge, and to keep alternating between them. This he calls as savitarka samāpatti.
Yeah. So we sometimes we use the help of word, sometimes we use the help of sensitivity of the picture, sometimes we use our prior knowledge, sometimes we use our so one of the meanings of the word vikalpa is to alternate. So and we are alternating between all these four, right? And whatever helps in keeping up the state of samāpatti, holding on to the state of samāpatti. And because we are using words, he calls this as savitarka samāpatti.
Now I'm focusing on the statue, and my attention is pulled away by a thought. At that moment, if someone is guiding my meditation, he says, be aware of going into a drift.
He says, become aware, where have you gone? And I bring my attention back to the statue and I dissolve into the statue.
I suddenly become aware that I have drifted into a chain of thought and I come back to focusing on the statue. I've taken the help of Shabda, the word. It came at the right time I was drifting. So there was prior knowledge of the mind and drift.
There was prior knowledge of the nature of the mind to drift. And that is why I needed this outside help. Right? Now, this could be in any form. It doesn't have to be a word. I could, after 5 minutes, just put a small alarm, tring, one ring comes, string. And at that moment, I become aware, was I drifting or was I focusing on the statue? And I go deeper into the statue. Right.
Feel the curves, awakening sensitivity by use of the object.
Artha. Object is artha.
Now, when the same is done through inner dialogue, it is the creation of work eyes.
So the Gurdjieff says, when you want in self-observation, he says there is an observing eye, and the observing eye creates work eyes to help it to remain in the state of observation, right? And so this is one of the ways in which we create work eyes.
Now, when the same is done through inner dialogue, it is the creation of work eyes. This is at a more subtle level between I and it.
So I become I and I am looking at Rajen. Rajen is drifting and I am telling Rajen, come back, hold your attention in the statue. So it becomes an inner dialogue between I and it. And in bhakti, it is between the bhakt and his deva, what you call Bhagwan.
We usually begin meditating by presenting the mind with an object. The effort we make to ensure that the object stays in forefront of our mind evolves into the process of meditation.
Right.
The longer we maintain this effort without interruption and with reverence, the deeper the meditation. The deeper the meditation, the freer the mind is from distracting thoughts. The mind is free to attend the object one pointedly. As meditation deepens further, the mind is aware only of the object.
Right. Now we can go from what you call gross objects to subtle objects. Right. So read further. We can move. At least our samāpatti does not have to be a gross object. It could be what you call a subtle object in the mind, right? It could be some emotion, right? My son could be in front of me and I'm feeling this feeling of fatherhood, right? And I just dissolve into that feeling of fatherness, right? Samāpatti, right? So now even if the son is not in front of me, I can still dissolve into that feeling of fatherhood. So the object does not have to be always be what you call gross object. It could also be a subtle object. And we want to go into the subtleties of what he's saying. So we'll just go, yeah.
The object could also be an emotion, example, fatherhood. We can take the feeling of love for someone. As we observe, we will see that the feeling of possessiveness always follows the feeling of love.
Now see how the disturbances come in a different form, right? I fall in love with someone, right? Now the minute I fall in love with someone, right, the what do you call devil is just behind me because the devil hates love, right? And so the devil comes and says, you get married to this person, right? Possess this person. So the feeling of possessiveness is just hiding behind the feeling of love, right? Now, if we dissolve into the feeling of love, it is samāpatti. But the meaning of the minute the feeling of possessiveness, I want to own this person, I want to marry this person, then the ego comes in. So possessiveness always follows the feeling of love, and we have to be very careful over there that instead of what you call possessiveness taking us for a drift, we dissolve into the feeling of love, and that becomes samāpatti. Right.
Now,
Samāpatti, you can write absorption. Also absorption.
we want to possess that person. The teacher may say a few words that awaken us to another possibility,
Yeah.
to dissolve into the sensitivity of the feeling.
Right.
That is,
So supposing I go and tell my teacher, hey, Guruji, I've fallen in love with this person, right? So the teacher will say, now dissolve into the feeling of love. Forget the other person. The other person is just a nimit karan, just an instrument to awaken the feeling of love in you. What is precious in you is the feeling of love. And keep dissolving into that feeling of love. If you go to possess the other person, you will lose the feeling of love. Then you will own the other person, right? And only the ego owns. Ownership belongs to the ego. It does not belong to the self, right? So the guru will say that you dissolve and keep dissolving. Something will distract you. Again, the guru is there to hold your hand and say, keep dissolving in the feeling of love. And at one moment, we become the feeling of love. There is no, what do you call, we are totally, what do you call, saturated by the feeling of love, right? And this love is like a, what do you call, lotus stone. Everything it touches, it turns into gold, right? That love, everything it touches with softness. It touches with the joy of life. So that feeling of love, it permeates through your physical body, into your blood, into your skin, into your touch, into your eyes, into your tongue, into your words. So just one small experiment holding a feeling, it doesn't have to be a statue, it can be an inner subtle experience, a feeling of love, and we dissolve into that feeling of love, right?
that is, by holding the sensitivity, we can be totally absorbed in the feeling of love. Now, we will see that we are pulled in two directions: possessiveness, the feeling of wanting to be more and more with that person, and all the negativity which comes with it.
Right.
Or
Because we want to possess that person, but if that person is talking to somebody else and not paying attention to us, then jealousy will come and suspicion will come and all kinds of things will come, right? So we'll go deeper and deeper into the ego, and the self will remain somewhere else, hidden somewhere else, in the bar or sleep or somewhere, right?
Here the teacher may keep prompting us, do not give in to negativity.
Do not express your negativity. Do not become jealous. Go back to the feeling, the sensitivity of the feeling of love, and dissolve into that feeling.
And if we stay with it, something extraordinary happens.
Yes. And if we can stay in it, and if we can be with it, if we can totally allow it to saturate our being totally, then at one point we are no more and love is, right? And love is God, but only when love is, right? We are not, and love is. Then love is God. Uh, we can never be God. The dissolution of we into love is God. Hmm. Right.
We light the lamp of love in spite of the person.
Then once the lamp of love is lit within us, then all our, what do you call, negativities will wash away automatically. No need of any self-observation, right? Because then just as a flame is there, like a candle is there, the candle does not say, I don't like this person, I won't throw my light on this person, right? The candle is what you call helpless. It has to, whoever comes in front of the candle will throw the light. Similarly, the candle of love has now lit within us. Whoever comes in front, the light is going to fall on that person, right? We cannot say, I don't like this person and I like this person. The lamp of love does not have any what you call judgmental eyes over there. It does not judge whom the light should fall upon. And so our being becomes the being of love by just practicing this one small, simple technique of what the Rishi Patanjali is telling us over here. One small technique. It's so simple. So simple.
We could be focusing attention on the breath.
We can dissolve into breaths and feel the breath as the waves. We can dissolve into our coffee cup, feel the coffee, feel the warmth of the cup, right? And this can be practiced anywhere. From gross objects to subtle objects, we keep practicing this and keep dissolving into this.
Our perception is moving from the gross world to the molecular.
As our sensitivity grows and as our, what do you call, we keep dissolving into it, our energy of sensitivity starts overflowing and we move from seeing things, the gross nature of things, right, to moving into the more sensitive aspects, the more subtle aspects of objects within us, which come in front of us.
Because of this practice, we start arriving at a knowledge and experience of subliminal or subtle objects.
We are now able to penetrate beyond the physical form into the subconscious, into the mind, into the, when we see a statue in a temple, we are able to penetrate beyond the physical into what the characteristics of that statue are, how they, because those characteristics are being evoked within us. Right.
Possessing the person was gross, but dissolving into a sensitivity is subtle.
Right. Dissolving into any emotion, any feeling, any thought, it is subtle. Subtle.
Ordinarily, we had awareness of the external form, but our perception goes beyond its boundary.
Now we have crossed the boundaries of external. So we can now feel, when we sense a person, we can sense beyond the external. We can sense what that person is going through. We can sense, sometimes even a small cup can tell us a whole history of the cup, right? So the sensitivity goes deeper from the physical.
The Taking it further, the external form could also be a thought or a feeling. To be able to
Now a
penetrate.
thought or feeling has become the external form. Like the statue was the external form, the thought or feeling now becomes the external form, and we go deeper into the subtle aspects of that. How the thought, and we are going to go into that now, little later in this sutra, how the thought was created, what is beyond, and all that.
To be able to penetrate beyond the external boundary of a thought or feeling, to go to the inner pattern which colored the thought, and to then the cause or the initial idea.
Initial idea. First, there is an initial idea. The idea creates a thought form. The thought form creates language, and thought is created. We can go into each one of these and we can penetrate beyond, because our sensitivity now extends beyond the physical into the more subtle.
Taking the language and applying it to feeling the subtle characteristics of water to give a deeper feeling of absorption.
So when you meditate upon flowing water, and in many, what do you call, spiritual societies, their only meditation is meditate on flowing water. So when we meditate on flowing water, we use these four. We imagine that we are getting wet by the water, we are dissolving into the water, we are enjoying the water, right? And as we dissolve deeper and deeper and into the water, we are just experiencing a subtle inner flow, and we are one with that flow. And in that, the attention gets free.
Feeling the water element in the body, in the cells, lubrication in the mouth, in the eyes, the circulation to every cell.
Right. Lubrication in the mouth. Somebody brings a chocolate within us, and lubrication comes in the mouth, the saliva comes in the mouth, and there's the feeling of the saliva coming in the mouth. Dissolve in that feeling. Samāpatti. Right. So the very, what do you call, food which you enjoy is on the table. Just sense the saliva coming in your mouth and dissolve into it. Before eating your food, you've dissolved into a state of meditation. Right. So this can be so that what I'm trying to say is that this can be practiced anywhere. It can be practiced. Right?
In the eyes.
And it brings so much joy in our life. Just as a little movement from the gross to the subtle, a little sensitivity from the gross to the, we have not yet reached the state of total samāpatti, but a little movement in that direction brings so much of happiness and so much of joy.
In the eyes, the circulation to every cell.
Yeah, you can feel the circulation of blood in the body to every cell. Yeah. So move from the gross to the subtle. Right. Now in this sutra, the Rishi devised this subtlety, this moving into the subtle. Now there are two aspects to this sutra. There is one aspect which is the normal aspect where most of the translators have taken that aspect, is that for the student, right, who has gone into absorption, he has used these, but he cannot see these separately. Right? He cannot see these separately. These four are mixed together. That is, imagination, knowledge, word, and object are mixed together. Right? So that is one translation which we will take. And the second translation which we will take is Tavariaji Sahib's translation, where he says that he can see all four and he is using all four to blend them together, and what Nimisha Ben says, that something new will come out of it. Right? He gets a new knowledge or a new experience out of it. Right? So we'll take both the ways. But he's saying the subtle part of this sutra is that in this state of samāpatti, there are three things happening. That part of the mind which is experiencing or grahitru, that part of the mind which is the object or which is, what is it? Grahya, Grahyeshu, Grahya. Grahyeshu is what you call plural, Grahya, and the process of Grahan. Now he's dividing this process from Grahan to Grahyeshu. That is, he's dividing this process into four subtleties, and we go back to those four subtleties which we were just seeing just now. Can we go back to that?
Yeah.
Those four, yeah. That is vikalpa or conceptualization, imagination, alternation, based on prior knowledge or jnana, use of language or shabda to make the image or artha. Okay, read 28 and then we'll stop over there. Right?
He says, in the initial stages of absorption, when our perception is not subtle enough to see them as three, we see them as mixed, samkirna.
He says, in this sutra, he is saying in savitarka, samāpatti, all these four are mixed. Not three, but all these four are mixed. Right? And they are commingled. And this he calls as samāpatti. Savitarka, samāpatti.
This is called
there is absorption, but there is absorption in which words, imagination, language, and objects and prior knowledge, everything is still present, right? But there is still a kind of absorption, and that he calls as savitarka, samāpatti. We'll stop over here. We'll continue this next week. Is that okay, Hema Ben?
Ji sir, ji sir.
Any questions anyone has? Any questions? પાછળ લોકો બધા બિચારા ગરમીમાં લાઈટ ગઈ ને ફૂલ કર નાખ. Fast. Any questions? Anyone else? No questions. That's good. Everyone's got enlightened.
મજા આવી ગઈ પણ. રાજનભાઈ અમે અમારું એબ્ઝોર્પ્શન થાય કે ના થાય, તમારું એબ્ઝોર્પ્શન જોઈને મને તો મજા આવી ગઈ.
આપણે બધા સાધક જ છીએ.
ના પણ ખબર પડે આમ તમે જે રીતે એન્જોય કરીને કહેતા હતા ને.
Okay, so we'll meet next week, next Saturday. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, we are
Thank you.
going very slowly, but we'll get there. Okay, thank you. Good night.
Thank you and Jai Bhagwan Rajan Bhai.
Thank you.